everything over to the UN. Now we have the UN trying to interject itself into the election. A guy named Ben Emerson, he's the UN Special Reporter on Counterterrorism and Human Rights. He has lamented now that Mitt Romney, his position on waterboarding, is bad. Quote, "There is no doubt that the Romney administration would be able to claim a Democratic mandate for torture." That is, they caught us. They caught us. That's what I was hoping.
You're right.
Man, I was hoping we could bring torture.
Remember that torture speech?
Yeah, I do.
When he was,
I do.
Yeah.
That would put Romney as the first world leader in history to be able to claim that. Yeah.
As always, Bush now is nothing. Back when Bush was president, all it was how much he wanted to torture people and kill people. Now he was like a Sesame Street character.
Yeah.
One that won't be banned by Mitt Romney.
Here's what he said about torture during the 08 GOP debates. Here.
But I do not believe that as a presidential candidate, it is wise for us to describe precisely what techniques we will use in interrogating people. I oppose torture. I would not be in favor of torture in any way, shape, or form. This waterboarding torture. And as I just said, as a presidential candidate, I don't think it's wise for us to describe specifically which measures we would and would not use.
But he opposes torture in any form. How is that a Democratic mandate for torture?
Oh, well, it puts him as the first leader.
Okay.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
Still, Emerson seems to be in full campaign Obama mode. Emerson said Obama had begun to realign U.S. policy with international law. I believe that is absolutely right. I believe that this president has aligned us with international law. And if you're all for international law, God bless you. Sea treaty, all that stuff, go for it. Not for international law. I'm not for one global government like the UN. Romney's approach is now threatening to undermine that progress, he said. The reintroduction of torture under Romney administration would significantly increase the threat levels to Americans at home and abroad. Such a policy, if adopted, would expose American people to the risks the Obama administration is not currently exposing them to. What risks are they not exposing us to? Oh, I know. The risk of actually being safe from Sharia law and Islamic extremism. Could it be, possibly, that Mr. Emerson, along with the rest of the worthless worms at the United Nations, are starting to feel as though the gravy train may have run out of track? The United States of America now pays 22% of the UN's core budget of $14 billion, and 25% of its system-wide spending comes from us. And the UN total spending tops $25 billion. Could it be that the UN understands the best friend they ever had in the White House is Barack Hussein Obama? A president who considers himself a citizen of the world.
Although tonight I speak to you not as a candidate for president, but as a citizen. A proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world.
Fellow citizen of the world. The whole charade with the UN has gone on far too long. With 5% of the population, why do we have this abomination on our soil? To berate us, to fight against us, to fight against our allies every step of the way, all the while paying the freight for this bloated, corrupted group of bureaucrats. And now we're inviting the UN, I don't know if you've heard this, to monitor our elections. The Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, the NAACP, and the ACLU, among other groups, have warned this month in a letter to Dane Everts, the senior official with the OSCE, a UN partner, of a coordinated political effort to disenfranchise millions of Americans, particularly traditionally disenfranchised groups like minorities. So they're sending, the UN is going to send observers from Germany and France and Serbia and Belarus, Ukraine and Kazakhstan. Really? They'll observe the voting at the polling places and other political activities that you may see in Ohio, or in Iowa, or in Florida. The UN has no jurisdiction in the United States. But left-wing organizations have invited the UN observers to our polling places. These guys are from countries that They're dirtbag countries. They're the ones that
Serbia, Belarus, Ukraine.
We should be watching them. They're watching us.
We used to watch them. We used to send representatives to the Ukraine and places like Belarus and Serbia all the time, every election cycle. You remember that? Now they're sending their representatives to us?
Well, if anybody knows corruption, they do.
Well, surely they'll be looking for people who aren't registered, who are dead, who are...
surely.
Surely that's what they're going to be looking for when they're looking for election
The
fraud.
UN has come out and said that they are worried that conservative groups are going to be targeting us, are going to be targeting our election.